Hello and welcome. We're diving into a question that sounds really simple, but it's actually not. And that is, when does female libido actually peak? As it turns out, the answer isn't just a number or an age. It's this fascinating mix of our biology, our psychology, and our own life story.
So, let's get right to it. Is there some magic number, a specific age, or a certain time of the month when desire is just at its absolute highest? It's a question that, let's be honest, a lot of us have probably wondered about at some point. But yeah, trying to pin it down to a single date on a calendar, it just doesn't really work that way. The real answer is this complex, kind of beautiful dance between our body, our mind, and our life experiences. So let's start with the first partner in that dance, the body's own rhythm.
Okay, first up, the body's rhythm. To really get a handle on libido, we've got to start with the powerful biological and hormonal forces that are always at work, just under the surface. So if we're talking pure physiology, a lot of women report feeling this noticeable spike in desire right around ovulation. And that makes total sense. It's when estrogen hits its peak. And what's really interesting is that testosterone, which is a huge driver of libido for everybody, also gets a little surge right around then.
So why? Why does this hormonal surge happen? Well, the leading theory is that it's a pretty powerful evolutionary tool. It's basically our body's way of making sure that the idea of reproduction is front and center right when it's most likely to be successful.
In this peak, it's not some quiet, subtle thing. It can mean more frequent sexual fantasies, feeling more initiative, a heightened sensitivity. It's really our body's brilliant, natural way of putting up a giant sign that says, hey, now's the time.
But, and this is a really, really important but, this is not a universal rule. Not at all. While ovulation is a super common peak, some women feel their highest desire maybe right after their period or at other times altogether. Every individual body has its own unique rhythm.
Okay, so biology is just one piece of the puzzle. Our life journey, our experiences, our maturity, plays an equally huge role, and maybe even a more important one. If you look at desire across different life stages, this really interesting pattern starts to show up. The early 20s, often a time of exploration. But a lot of women find their desire gets more stable, more self-assured in their late 20s and 30s. And for some, it doesn't stop there. It can keep growing into their 40s and beyond, really fueled by this powerful sense of confidence.
So what's behind this shift? It's not just about hormones. It's this incredible combination of having more life experience, a stronger sense of who you are, and just knowing your own body better. It's that confidence that comes from knowing exactly what you want and feeling like you can actually ask for it.
And this is the real key to this section. For many people, maturity brings this amazing sense of psychological security. Feeling relaxed, safe, and just truly comfortable in your own skin can be a way more powerful driver for desire than whatever your biological age happens to be.
Okay, so now let's get into the factor that can have the biggest day-to-day impact. Our mental and emotional state. You can kind of think of it as the emotional weather that's constantly shifting inside of us.
Think about it like this. On one side, you have all the on switches, things like feeling desired, having a strong emotional connection, low stress. But on the other side, you've got the off switches, feeling neglected, relationship tension, anxiety, just being exhausted. And the really crucial thing to remember is that those off switches can completely override even the most perfect biological conditions.
So, what have we learned here? That it's not just one thing. Let's put all these different pieces together, the body, the life journey, and the state of mind, to really see what creates that true peak moment. So the true peak isn't a fixed point in time. It's more like a superposition. It's that moment when all these key elements just perfectly align. Your hormones are in the right place, you're feeling safe and relaxed in your own head, and you're feeling that strong emotional connection. When all three of those things are in place, that's the peak.
This quote from our source material just nails it. It's a superposition. It's a term from physics, actually, that describes when multiple states exist all at once. And in this context, it just means that libido isn't one single thing, but it's that moment when biology, psychology, and connection all come together perfectly.
And that right there, that completely reframes how we should be thinking about this whole topic. It pulls us away from a rigid, calendar-based idea to something way more dynamic and, honestly, a lot more empowering. And that is the real takeaway. The most helpful question isn't when is the peak, it's under what conditions does my desire peak? Shifting that focus from a fixed point to a dynamic state, well, it gives you a much more accurate and useful way to understand it.
So in the end, the peak of female libido isn't a destination you just arrive at one day. It's a state that you help create. Understanding the unique rhythm of your own body, your own mind, and your own life, that's the real key. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.